Okay, welcome to the Course Sales Basic License. Today I'm going to be telling you about how to get everything set up, configured to be able to use. So this is after the introduction to navigating around the basic license, and now I'm going to show you what actions you should do. So first of all, make sure you log in to your course sales software, and we're going to get straight into it. I'm going to get you to click on the Publish tab. Okay, so click on the Publish tab, then click on the Options icon there in the ribbon menu, and this is going to take us to a list of options that we need to update. So let's work through them one by one. So first of all, let's look here at the branch. I'd like you to update the branch, and we're going to do that by clicking on the tree view icon. That's that fourth blue icon along. So click on that just there, and that will open up the tree view. This allows you to see two items. We've got the branch, which is the name of this option. It's the top name of this option, and then we've got some of the values, some of the children they're called. So let's click on the edit icon there, which is the cog. So click on the cog, that'll bring up a menu, and then click on the edit option within that menu, which has the pencil beside it. And this allows you to make changes. So you can actually change your organization name. So this is not the name used using a VETMIS reporting for those RTOs. This is the name that the customer might see. So you can actually use a trading name if you want, rather than your company name. And then you may want to update your email address. This is the email address for the branch, and this is a common email address used usually to send emails from the system. So when you send an email to a client, this is the email address that will be used. So if you want to make that personalized and include a person's email, you can do. Otherwise, you can use a generic email like this. And then also there's an email signature. The email signature goes at the bottom of the emails, automatically included, and it usually has something like the name of the person or the name of the organization, has a phone number, and maybe a website down the bottom there. So you can include all of those items in there, and that'll appear at the bottom of all of the emails. So once you've done that, you can click on save, and that will save that information to the branch, and that's now going to be applied to all of the emails that are sent from the system. And when we email, or rather when we edit the email templates later, you'll see how that's used. Now let's go back into options. Let's do a few others. Go back into options here, and let's work down. So this list here is your course categories. Now the course categories are the courses that you'll be delivering. So if I click on the click on the tree view here, this fourth blue icon along, look at the course categories. You can see we've got one there called your first course category. You can click on the cog button there and edit that value, and you're just changing the name. Again, this is not reported on within a VETMIS, so you can give this any name that you want. You don't have to use the official name if you don't want to. What we can do is we can actually add a list here. So I'm going to add one to after this. I'm going to add after this node, and I'm going to call this first aid, including CPR. Okay, so you can see how you can use any name I want, and that's all that's really useful here. You can add a description if you want, but we're not really using the description anywhere yet. So this is just adding the names of the courses that you want to add into the system. Click on add, and you can see it's added below there. Now if I can actually move these items, I'm going to add another one first of all. I'm going to add after this node again, and that's going to add one below that. I'm going to call this Diploma of Business. Okay, I'm going to click on add, and now you can see I've got a few different ones here. I can actually move these around if I want to. So you can see how as I move that around, we get a little bit of an arrow moving. An arrow that clicks into it will actually make this first aid part a child of the diploma. You can see if I let that go, you can see here that's actually underneath that now, and I can drag that back out again and put it between those two values. See, I've got first aid. This is the order that will appear on the WordPress website if you're using the WordPress plugin. Okay, so that's the course category. So add all your course categories in there. These are all the saleable items. Okay, all your saleable courses, your courses you want to sell, and you want people to book onto. So you may have a variety of different courses, and for each of these we're going to have at least one course master, which we'll be setting up later. So let's keep going into the options. I click on the options tab again. So the next thing is to set up your course modules. Now this is where we're going to set up the the units of competency. Okay, but before we do that, I'm actually going to flick down to set up the qualifications first. Okay, because what we'll find is that our units of competency may be linked to our qualifications. So it's a good idea to set those up first. Again, I'm going to click on this icon here, which is the icon for viewing the tree view. And you can see I've got two. I've already set up that diploma of business. Now I don't need to set up a qualification for a single unit of competency because I'm not going to be awarding a qualification. I'm awarding a statement of attainment rather than a certificate. But I do want to go in and make sure the VETMIS data is entered for this diploma of business. So I'm just going to click on the cog there, click on edit, and you can see here I've got a request to enter the qualification details. So these come from training.gov.au. So I'm going to put diploma of business. Let's see, diploma of business. Got to spell it correctly to get it right. Here we go. So I'm going to do diploma of business accounting. So I'm going to select that, and that's the VETMIS data that will be used to export when I produce my VETMIS files, my NAT files. Okay, so I can click on save. You can see by default we've already got the intention of this program of study is vocational. That's ticked by or checked by default. Click on save, and now I've set up that qualification perfectly fine there. Now if you happen to be doing qualifications and getting funding for them, then there's additional fields. Let us know about those and we can add those in for you. Okay, so I'm going to go back to options now. And here we've got the course modules now. Let's go in here, and I'm going to click on the tree view. I'm going to add a course module. Again, I've got this initial one here. I can edit that if I want to, but I can also create a new one. I'm going to add after this node. And in fact, what I'm going to do here is a bit different. I'm actually going to define the VETMIS data first of all. And I know that for my first aid with a CPR, I want an HLTAID 003 qualification. There we go, provide first aid. So I'm going to select that. Now this has come from train.gov.au. Now it's not related to a qualification, so I'm going to leave that blank. And then further down here, I'm going to say how this course is delivered. And you can see here we've got a bit of information to help guide us as to what this is going to be. This is going to be an internal delivery because it's classroom based. Okay, so I'm going to say internal only. And now if you happen to be delivering internally and externally, that is to say there's some homework maybe or some work that people do outside the classroom, then you can include a combination. So I'm going to choose internal only. Already we've got the check to say yes, this is vocational. So I'm just going to add that in there. Oh, I have to have a name. That's right. I have to copy this name up here. So I'm going to copy this unit of competency up there so I've got a record of that. And click on add. Okay, now you might be thinking, okay, what do I have to do when I've got my diploma of business? Well, what you do is first of all, you go to train.gov.au and you visit the National Register, and let's type in diploma of business. Search for that. And let's get the qualifications, diploma of business, and I think I chose accounting, didn't I? Got to make sure I get to the right one. Oh, does not seem to be listed here. Well, look, let's choose diploma of business. This one here. So we're going to do BSB. This is the code that we're looking for. And I can see here that I've got a unit of competency. I'm going to copy that code for the unit of competency. And I'm going to start adding the units that are applicable to me. You don't have to add all 49 units, just add the ones that are relevant to you. So I'm going to click on the cog. I'm going to add after this node. I'm going to go down here to unit of competency, enter the code in. It's selected. Choose the one that I'm interested in. Choose the qualification that it's relevant for, diploma of business, and this is going to be delivered in a classroom, so I'm saying internal only, and there we go, I've added that in. Okay, I have to add a name in, copy that up there, and put that into the name, so then I've got a record of exactly the right name. As you can see, and I can keep adding those in. If I wanted to, I could create an upper level, so I can go add after this node, and I can add just to group these together, click on add, and I can now drag. Remember how we dragged those before? We can drag this and put it underneath. There we go. Put it underneath the deployment process. Now I can just keep adding them by clicking on this cog and clicking on add after this node. So I get a big long list of my units of competency that are relevant. And if you need to, we can actually add these for you. So let us know if you need assistance there. Okay, let's go back to our options now. Just check to see if there's anything more to add. So we've done the course modules. We'll be adding those in. So make sure you add all your units of competency and also add your modules in there. Now next step is to add locations in. Okay, let's have a look at our locations again. Click on the tree view. And you may want to disable these, so maybe you want to inactivate some of them. You can click on the cog again beside the one that you're not going to use. Click on the edit button and then you can make them inactive. Alternatively, if you're planning on delivering, let's say in South Australia, Tasmania, etc., let's add one to Tasmania. Let's add another location. Let's add a child. So this is adding a value below or within the group of Tasmania. Let's add Hobart in there. Okay, and we might want to add in a bit of information for a vetmis. This is required, so let's add in the name. Let's type in Hobart and get a postcard. Oh, sorry, postcard. A postcode in there. And you see the country's already chosen, so now we can click on add. There we go. So now we've added Hobart to Tasmania. Now notice how this N has come up here. Now what that means is that when we print Hobart or use the word Hobart in emails, it's going to say Hobart, Tasmania. But if you know that all your customers know that Hobart's in Tasmania, you don't have to have that. So let's click on the cog here and just edit that one and just untick that include in name, okay? And click on save. So if we have a look now, you'll see that Tasmania is not going to be included in name. So it's not going to be included in the Hobart name when we print that in emails. Okay, let's go back to options, see what else we want to do. So after you've added all your locations in, you should be ready to go. Okay, so we've got locations. There are some others like note types aren't relevant to the basic license. Qualifications, that's fine. Roles, you don't need to add any of those. And pretty much that's it. So we've set up our options. And the next step for us is to go and set up some details in our login. And make some other, set up some masters and things like that. So I'll let you go ahead and set up those options and you can come back. Talk to you later. Ciao.